Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Average joGamer podcast. That's right, everyone. Welcome so much to the Average joGamer podcast. This is the first episode. I don't know if I'm going to call it episode 0 yet, as more of an introduction, or if we're just going to go straight in to episode 1. Whatever it says as you're listening to this or looking at the upload, that's what I'll name it. So I'll decide during editing. However, what is the Average joGamer podcast? Why should you even be here? Well, be here because hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully we can keep talking about video games. I am your host, the Average joGamer, or you can just call me Joe. I am a 41-year-old gamer. Been gaming my whole life. I'm really into everything video game related, right? I collect, I play, I am hip to the news. I try to stream every so often. I've tried to podcast in the past. But with me, it's kind of hard for me to stick with it. And hopefully I will stick with it this time go around. What is the Average joGamer podcast? What are we doing besides talking about gaming? Well, mainly, yes, gaming. I'm kind of like be reviewing what I've been playing the previous week. I'll touch on some news. I like to do gaming history, so I might be touching on gaming history week to week. But other than just gaming, any kind of shows or movies or entertainment kind of thing that I'm into at the moment, we can talk about that as well. And that's about it. I don't want to keep these too long. It is just myself. I don't have any other co-hosts. Even though that would make this much easier. Maybe we'll get one day. That would be great. Bounce off, conversations with people. But yeah. So what do I normally play in video games? Right now, probably the most current thing, which, depending on who you are listening to this, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for mobile is, well, actually mobile and PC now, is kind of my main thing. I play that daily. Do I look at it as my main thing? No, but I acknowledge that that's something that I actually do daily. So we'll probably give some updates as to what I'm working on in Galaxy of Heroes in future episodes. Now, that won't be every week because sometimes there's just nothing to do. You're farming something for such a long time, you may not have any interesting news week to week. But in Galaxy of Heroes, currently, if you do know what it's about, it's a hero collecting game, right? It's a turn-based RPG battle system, but you collect heroes, you unlock heroes. Yes, you can pay to compete. I hate to say pay to win because these characters come out so quickly. You got to be a millionaire almost, to really pay that way. But you don't have to. You can go slow. You can do free to play. I do spend money on the game every so often, but because I've been playing the game for multiple years, that kind of, in my head, justifies it, because I've gotten that much entertainment out of it. But yeah, you basically collect heroes, you collect Star Wars characters, and then you fight PvP. You do raids, you do territory wars, they're called, and then there's territory battles, which is a little bit more PvE focused. So it's got a little bit of everything. I've tried other character collecting games, and this is the one that just sticks. So, and that's not even really a Star Wars thing. I like the clean UI. Yes, I do like Star Wars, so that helps, but I just really enjoy it. I do wish there were some more features in the game, but we'll have to wait and see. They just did a huge upgrade recently, so we'll wait and see. What else am I playing right now? Well, nothing. I've been very busy with life and work. So I haven't really started anything, but I'm currently in a Lord of the Rings kick. I've been watching the trilogy. I got my kids to watch the trilogy. They're really into it, so we're still kind of reliving that a lot. I just finished the audiobooks of the trilogy, so I'm still kind of into it right now. It's still vibing with me right now, and because of that, I might actually go back and play Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. These are games that came out, on the PS4, and I never really gave them the time of the day. Not that I never disliked Lord of the Rings, because when the movies came out, I did like them. But that was such a far departure of those movies and these Mordor games that it just wasn't grabbing me at the time. But now it's kind of the perfect time because I'm all into it right now. It's just all vibing. It all melds together. And I am thinking about doing it as a stream playthrough. Now, streaming, just like podcasting, every so often I'll do it. Podcasting I want to do week to week. Streaming, I'm not going to commit to anything yet. I have kids. I have kids in the apartment that I live in. So it gets rough. So I can't always, schedule things for Twitch. This podcast, for example, I'm recording at my job because it's a nice way everyone clears out. I can do it here, half hour to an hour, and then go home and be fine. Anyway, Twitch streaming, I'll do it when I can, and then I'll probably just upload it to YouTube. And if anyone ever wants to watch, they can, and they miss the live stream, they can go in and watch the backups on YouTube. What else am I playing? That's, again, I haven't even played the Lord of the Rings yet, so I can't really count that, but that's really it. My backlog is filling because of all these games that I want to play. I want to hop into Persona 5. I want to hop into these Lord of the Rings games that I just mentioned. I want to also replay some of these Metal Gear games, and I want to replay Final Fantasy again. Final Fantasy Rebirth was my personal game of the year. I have to admit that I didn't play a lot of the Game of the Year games that were nominated. So that could be it. But I really do think that Rebirth, and we'll get more into this in another episode, so I'll cut it short, but I just really do think that Rebirth really fulfilled on the promise of what they were trying to do with the remake, and it was just fantastic in every way. I'll end it there because it's going to rant on, and I'll save that for another episode. Again, because this is more of just kind of an intro of what we're going to be talking about. Shows, I don't really have a whole lot going on right now with anything that I'm watching. I might get into something, but TV shows are harder for me to get into. It's not a thing against any kind of show. It's just harder for me to latch on to a show, even if they're good. I kind of suck at that. More of a movie guy, but right now there's not really any movies that I've watched. I do want to watch, some of the hot ones that are up for like Golden Globes and probably will be for Oscars, like The Brutalist. I want to see that. Just waiting on that. The Bob Dylan movie, I want to see that when it comes out digitally, streaming or whatever it is. I do want to end up seeing that as well. But that's about it for movies. Again, my name is Average Joe Gamer. I do, that's kind of the name everywhere. My Instagram is Average Joe Gamer, YouTube, Twitch, all Average Joe Gamer. Excuse me, the Instagram is kind of, gaming related photography, right? So it'll be photos of my gaming collection. It'll be in-game screenshots. Just anything kind of gaming or nerdy related goes on to Average Joe Gamer. Other photography goes on Photos by Joe B, which is all underscored as spaces. That's kind of more like the personal stuff, like landscape photography. I want to get into street photography. We might talk about photography on here as well. But again, don't get, it is mainly gaming focused. I just want to kind of touch on all the things that I do. Landscape photography, again, is kind of the main thing. I'm not great at it. I'm not saying that at all. I just kind of enjoy that one a little bit more because you can relax with it more. You don't have to, pose somebody for their pictures. You don't have to interact with any of that. I can kind of just get away from people and go and do that. I want to do the same thing with cityscapes or street photography as well. obviously there's a lot more people in street photography, but I want to ignore them and just kind of take pictures of the street. We'll see if I get into that one day. If so, I'll update you. But any kind of photos like that would be on Photos by Joe B on Instagram. YouTube, again, just a backup. Twitch, we'll see how we go. Yeah. So that's kind of a quick rundown of everything that is going on. So let's give a quick little taste of what some of the stuff would be like. Like I said, gaming history, I'm not a savant or anything. I'm not like hardcore and I can name everything off the top of my head, but I do like looking into things, and I'm pretty good at remembering releases of things generally around the time that they came out, not year for year, date for date. But I also will Google search some things. And so today, as of recording, on January 14th, I looked up things that happened in gaming history. And obviously a lot did, but one that caught my eye was 1999. In 1999, Electronic Arts, they recalled the PlayStation version of Tiger Woods' 99 PGA Golf. They had to recall it. And the reason they had to recall it is because a bootleg episode of South Park was found on the CD, which was in like normally unused space of the CD. The file was only readable apparently on the PC, and it was invisible on the PSX console. But of course, someone was probably trying to rip it or whatever, and they found it. Roughly 100,000 copies were affected, according to this website. That's one that kind of just stuck out to me, because that's not something you hear about every day. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I have that game. Let me look. If you kind of bear with me here, I can pull up my app and see if I own that game, because I do have some rando sports titles. And I am a Tiger Woods golf game fan. I do have that game. I do. So, we will give an update next podcast episode on if that episode is on a CD that I have. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But we'll check. I can do that on my computer because I currently got a external CD drive, because, computers don't have that anymore. Because my current little niche thing is, ripping my CDs to the computer, backing those up, and making FLACs out of them for high-res audio. That's kind of the new little gadgetry thing that I'm into. People are modding iPods nowadays. A buddy of mine got me into that, and of course I went down the rabbit hole, and it's fun. I did that when I was a kid, how many years ago? So it's kind of fun to get back into it for a little bit. Again, just like everything else, we'll see how long it lasts. But it's fun to go in and make your own playlists. And I know that you can do that on Spotify and Apple Music as well. But to just have all the stuff that you're physically ripping and playing with that way is kind of fun. Maybe, I don't know if there would be an update for that at all, but it's fun. It's fun to do. I got a pair of in-ear monitors, they call them. They're, in-ear headphones, but they're called in-ear monitors. That are really, really fun. They're FIO FH3s. They sound great. That's what was recommended to me to try out, and I'm glad I did. I work out with them, and it kind of helps me zone out, because since I'm only listening to music, that's all I'm focused on. I'm not focused on pulling my phone out and texting somebody or checking whatever kind of news or seeing how I'm doing in Galaxy of Heroes if I need to deploy or whatever else. I'm just only really focused on the workout and the music, and that's kind of perfect with me, so my brain doesn't go crazy. Because if you can't already tell from the way that I'm talking right now, I can kind of just keep going on different little side tangents, which we'll try to hone in on future episodes. Again, this is an intro episode. This is kind of forced myself to do this, and this is also, as a listener, this is just an introduction of who I am and what I'm into. Last little tidbit here, gaming news. The DICE Awards are coming up soon. If you don't know what those are, it's like interactive. I think it's the Science and Arts of Interactive Entertainment. Let me just check. Yeah, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. It's It's coming, I think February 13th is when the awards are. It's in Vegas. And, you can live stream it anywhere. Now, I always end up watching the Game Awards by Jeff Keighley. That's kind of the main one. I mean, I pay attention to the other ones. But Dice Awards is big as well, so it's always just kind of fun to see what they're doing. I might end up live, watching that live as well this year, and not just the Game Awards. But just to kind of fast forward to what we all care about, the Game of the Year, what they nominated for Game of the Year, Astrobot, which is what won Jeff Keighley's Game Awards Game of the Year. Balatro, which is all over the place. That's another game that I want to play. I haven't, downloaded it or anything yet, but that's one of the ones to add to the backlog. Black Myth Wukong is nominated. Helldivers 2 is nominated for Game of the Year by them. That was not nominated by the Game Awards, I don't believe. Not for Game of the Year, but it did win, I think, Best Online Game, or Best Ongoing Game or something like that. And then Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is another game that I really want to play. I was thinking about just getting it on Steam, but I think I'll wait for the PlayStation release. I am mainly a PlayStation player, but I do play Nintendo games. I play on PC. I play on the Steam Deck. I love the Steam Deck. That's just as a thing, it's probably my favorite thing in gaming. Is the Steam Deck. But all my friends are on PlayStation 5. I grew up on PlayStation, so that's just kind of, I'm in. I'm into their ecosystem. I'm into their first-party titles. It would be very hard for me to pull away from that. But if anything were to do it, I think the Steam Deck and just PC gaming period would eventually. But not looking into that. Anyways, Indiana Jones, definitely something that I want to play. That is an Xbox game, but again, it is on PC. It is coming to PlayStation eventually, which can lead into some other news. Besides Dice Awards, now we're doing Indiana Jones, Xbox. Latest news from them is that the rumor mill is pumping out that Halo will be coming to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 2. Phil Spencer's already gone on. Phil Spencer, Xbox guy, he's already gone on, saying that there's nothing sacred anymore with them. They'll bring anything anywhere. They are a business. That's how they're going to run their business to make money. Makes sense to me. If your consoles are not as popular, I'll say, as they were during the Xbox 360 days, then sure, why not? At least in North America, But, yeah, why not? Make everything multi-platform. I get it. There are some things that Xbox does that I love. I love their backwards compatibility. I wish that Sony was better with their backwards compatibility. But, yeah, I mean, whatever. Xbox, I'm not sure. You never know with them because there's certain things that certain companies do, and it's not just Xbox, but they do that when they're losing the quote-unquote console wars, and they'll do other things when they're in the lead. One of the big ones was crossplay. At one point Microsoft wasn't into it, and then all of a sudden numbers dipped down, they're really into it. And then Sony was the one that was kind of leading at that time, and they were the ones that said that they were not into it, and they didn't want to do it. And Xbox kind of used that as leverage to say, hey, we're about the gamers, you guys aren't, blah, blah, blah. Same thing when Sony was on top during the PS3. They thought they were better than everybody else. They pump out a console at $600. It's pretty damn arrogant. And then they kind of go on a downward spiral. And once they do, and they start pumping out better games, thanks to games like Uncharted and others, and a price drop obviously helps, but it kind of changes the mentality of the company. It kind of changes what their focus is, and so they were able to rebound with the PlayStation 3 once they kind of changed their attitude, changed their marketing, lowered the price and things like that. And so, this whole talk about multi-platform everything, I don't know if that would be happening if Microsoft was leading. But they aren't. It is what it is. and it'll be interesting to see. I think they just eventually want to do Xbox Game Pass on everything. I mean, they have a marketing that says, basically everything can be an Xbox because you can play it on everything. So yeah, I mean, more the merrier. More games to play on PlayStation. I'm fine with that, and that's including Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and that includes Halo. I'll go back and play Halo. I have the Master Chief Collection on Steam. I've played it before with a buddy, done some co-op campaign. But again, a lot of my friends are more on PlayStation, so it would just be easier to link up with them that way. I know, again, with crossplay, there's a lot of other ways to do that, Discord, etc. There's something about just sitting down on the couch and just picking up a controller and everything's right then and there. That helps my lazy self. Yeah. So, looking forward to playing Indiana Jones. Looking forward to playing Astrobot. Possibly we'll end up playing Balatro eventually. Helldivers 2. Loved Helldivers 2. Need to get back into it. Again, it's just one of those things that, I'll be into something and then it kind of falls off for a little bit, but I still have love for it. And if we all played it as friends, then I'd be playing it every day. My group of friends are kind of mainly a Destiny group, but Destiny has fallen off, so we all kind of fell off. Kind of a slow decline on just running through the hamster wheel, doing the same thing every day over and over again. It gets boring. You want new content. They promise new content. They don't come out with new content, really. I mean, they come out with new DLC, but it's still the same formula. And you catch on to that, and it gets boring. But that hasn't been corrected yet. It's still that hamster wheel. It's still that back and forth. So we're not on that game as much anymore. There's still, there's 3 of us that play it, not myself. But whenever I try to play it, I just can't get back into it. But that's all it takes. It takes one thing to do to sink its claws into you, and you want to play it again and again and again. So we'll see. Maybe one day. But right now it's not happening. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out this year. Grand Theft Auto Online will follow that. I'll probably get sucked into that for a long time. And then hopefully with the streaming and all that other stuff, I can kind of catch up on backlog items like the Lord of the Rings games and other things as well. Persona 5, maybe. Yeah. That's it. That's my plans. That's what's happening right now. That's all I got. Next week, I gotta kind of nail down exactly when I'm going to be recording these episodes, exactly when I'm going to be dropping these episodes. That way I can get more into a rhythm, more that way you can expect when these things are going to happen. Like right now, like I said, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. I might actually upload this tonight or tomorrow. I'm definitely going to edit it tonight. But I will get into a groove. You'll see some updates. Which reminder, I got to check on that Tiger Woods PGA. Also, we'll get some updates about what's going on in Galaxy of Heroes right now. And hopefully we'll get into some updates on things that I'm actually playing. Because I'm really trying to play some stuff this weekend. And yeah, that's all I got. I know it's a short episode, but I'm going to get these a little bit more structured better. Again, to say for the 8,000th time, this is more just kind of an introduction of who I am, what I'm into. I hope I got some sort of a intro as to who I am across. Yeah. And I'll try and stop saying so much. We'll see if that goes good as well. But thank you so much for listening. See you next week. Tune in next time. Whatever else it is they say on these internets. Take care. Bye-bye.